You might almost get used to seeing crazy watches like this. But for episode 52, we got a very special lineup brought to you by Jasper Leijvering from Amsterdam Vintage Watches. This week's pieces are motherfucking awesome, and please hang around to see all of them. With my explanation, you might fall in love with any of those 6 pieces. In all honesty, I already fell in love with this 3800, a perfect execution of a bicolored Patek Philippe Nautilus. Perfect sized, and especially with the blue dial, I really enjoy it. This watch will not be for sale, it's on my wrist, but a small giveaway. We do have some pieces coming from the same collector, all very nice, and I can't wait to show you all. However, we're gonna start with a familiar brand and a familiar model indeed. The Rolex Datejust, brought by some specialists. We do enjoy those watches very much, especially when there's something a little bit different on them. This watch, for example, is a 16014 with the white gold fluted bezel and with the Jubilee bracelet, virtually stretch free. So far, nothing really special. However, this watch, produced in 1988, features an interesting dial, cream colored with applied Roman numerals. A similar lacquer we see in the same period used on the 16550, which is of course the Explorer 2. However, this watch is way less costly. Priced at only 4,800 euros, you can own a pretty unique Rolex Datejust. We're gonna stick with Rolex. However, this time a tool watch is up next. A Submariner with the red text. Of course, it has a date function reference 1680, produced in 1970. In this year, they featured the MK2 dial, having the meters before the feet in the depth rating. So 200 meters, 660 feet, instead of 650 feet, 200 meters. A very collectible watch. An early 1680, especially if you see it coming with its original box, the double punched papers, and the hang tag. The price tag is also interesting, 34,900 euros. So wait, a Rolex Submariner 1680 with a red meters first dial is the second watch in our lineup? The rest has to be motherfucking crazy. And it is. We're going over to our good friend Gerald Genta, who of course introduced the Royal Oak for Audemars Piguet. Starting with the reference 5402, we have one of the very first, dating back to 1980, only 6 years after its launch, and the watch is in pristine condition. We had to wait for a very long time because we serviced it over at AP, and the fine folks over there do a great job, but are very slow. The watch is priced at 35,000 euros, and it is coming with the original box, the original paperwork, the extract of the archives, and the service papers. It's interesting to note that on the C series, which is this watch, the first editions have the AP logo at the bottom. And the AP down is also something we see on the A series. However, this one is much more affordable. Up next, we shift the spotlight to the Patek Philippe Nautilus. Of course, also designed by Gerald Genta, and I mentioned earlier on that the watch on my wrist, a 3800 in gold and steel, is coming from a special collector. And all the 3 pieces up next are from the same gentleman. And we're gonna start with the same reference, in my opinion, perfectly sized. It is slightly smaller than the Jumbo edition, the 3700, that we will see slightly later on in the episode, but a perfect balanced configuration with the champagne dial in the full gold case as well as the bracelet. Perfect condition and priced at 29,000 euros. You might have to act fast because the last one we had was sold very quickly. Up next, some larger Nautilus models. And we're fast forwarding to the year 2001 when this 3710 was produced. This is a very rare Patek Philippe Nautilus, executed in stainless steel with the smooth black dial, applied Roman numerals, and some more interesting stuff on the dial. For example, the power reserve, which for some reason is kind of off-centered, and the Patek Philippe brand name down at the bottom of the dial. Most certainly a watch with a lot of potential, and at the price tag of 56,000 euros, it is arguably even more interesting than the 3700. It is time for the highly appreciated and OG reference, Patek Philippe Nautilus 3700, the jumbo edition, and it's just back from service, and I have the honor to open it up. Woo! I love the smell of vintage Pateks in the morning. So we mentioned already the 3700 a couple of times. This watch needs no introduction. However, we will talk about it anyhow because it's one of the very favorite watches of any collector in the world. And this is the gold and steel execution, as I said, freshly serviced by Patek Philippe, coming with the original extract of the archives and with the service papers. Priced at 65,000 euros, you can own this historically important piece from 1982. And unlike the 3800, this reference does not feature a second hand, but is even cleaner. Slightly larger though, but definitely something special. Wow, this week's lineup was a total killer. Only 2 Rolex pieces featured. We could not leave you without any Dages. We had the 16014 with the cream dial. We do stock more in store that are not online, but this special piece deserves some extra attention. We can say the same about the 1680 red meters first. Now we have 2 full sets, 1 meters first MK2 and the MK6 we dropped 2 weeks ago. The Audemars Piguet 5402, which of course is an OG reference, just like the 3700 that we had as last. Same size, different functions, different time, was the 3710, and the 3800 was not only on my wrist in gold and steel, but the 3800J was also in this drop. Let me know which one you like the most, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe, and remember that the best day to buy a vintage watch is today.